The Republican caucus has other agenda items very important to us that we want to talk about today. And once you're here today to hear about some of those agenda items, and with that, I would like to give you the Majority Leader, Mr. Greg Reed.
Thank you, Senator Marsh. Let me say certainly how much that I appreciate your willingness to be here today. Obviously, the media is very important to the people of the state of Alabama, and being able to have the detail and the message of what we're going to talk about be provided to them. So we appreciate so much you being here today. The Alabama Senate has a variety of folks that make up our group, whether it be farmers, businessmen, teachers, or doctors. But the one theme that runs through those men that are in our caucus is a desire to get things done for the people of the state of Alabama, the reason in which they ran for public office. In looking at our agenda, which is entitled Paving a Path for the Future, this is something we look forward to working on for the people of the state of Alabama and being able to accomplish things that make a real difference for our state. What we're going to try to do today is just run through not all the details, and there's a press release that you all have in regards to every detail of our agenda, but we're going to run through a couple of the top topics that we want to highlight today. We're going to be under three categories: protecting taxpayers, empower education, and create job opportunities. So our first speaker related to consolidating state agencies and departments is going to be Senator Marsh. Senator Marsh.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, we've had a real push the last 4 years, many of you here know, in consolidation of state government. Working with the governor, we've actually reduced the number of state employees by 5,500, some 12%. We think there's another probably 8% out there to be had. We've done this in a very compassionate way. As people retire, we eliminate those positions. It's been very effective. And with that, we've continued to work with the governor in more consolidation efforts. Two of those that we'll be looking at this time, one is the Department of Commerce consolidation, which we will actually take the ADECA and tourism and merge them under the Department of Commerce. That will eliminate two of the cabinet positions. It'll take away duplications in areas such as accounting and other areas and continue to downsize government. We're excited about that. Also, dealing with real property consolidation. Consolidating the real property will accomplish really four expectations: to achieve immediate long-term cost savings and cost avoidance, to increase operational efficiencies, to move from leased spaces to state-owned spaces, and to establish office space standards, and to increase the energy efficient practices. So I just want the people of this state to know, as we talk about the tough budget situation in the state, we know it's there. We will not slow down in right-sizing government. We'll work with the governor through this entire process to make sure we continue to get the state government of a size that is acceptable to the people of Alabama. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Marsh. Next topic, which you have reported on quite a bit over the last several months, is reforming a broken prison system. Senator Ward.
I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this, but we hands down have one of the biggest challenges of any state in the country with regard to our prison overcrowding problem. At 195% capacity, we're the most overcrowded system in the U.S. today. And as a caucus, we've decided that one of our biggest issues is to make sure we protect public safety first. Under our current system, we are woefully not only overcrowded, but also in dire straits of protecting our citizens from the dangers of overcrowding. If you look at what happened in California, where a federal court intervened and forced the release of over 42,000 inmates, as well as hundreds of millions of dollars in new costs, it shows you that we have a serious challenge that we as a state need to take on. Texas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, they've all taken on prison reform, and it's done in such a way that increased public safety, lowered the crime rates, and at the same time save the state money in the long term. We can do that too. We have a package coming together that's going to do that in a conservative manner, in a way that also protects our citizens from the unlawful and hopefully an unrealistic release of mass inmates being released. I think if we don't do this, we will find ourselves in a challenge that our budget can't sustain. At the same time, our correction system doesn't need to deal with. We can be smarter about this. We've talked about this quite a bit. We'll see this is one of our first bills coming forward in the package. It's about a 121-page bill, but it's a bill that includes tougher sentencing for higher value crimes. It also includes more parole officers, and at the same time includes alternative sentencing that's smarter about crime and at the same time still tough on crime. So we look forward to having that this time, and it's going to be a big part of our package. We know we can do it, but it's also a tough package, but at the same time something that increases public safety and something we can all be proud of. Thank you, Senator Reed.
Thank you, Senator Ward. Last topic in this category is going to be from Senator Bill Hightower, Mobile, and that's the topic of requiring mandatory tax expenditure reports. Senator Hightower?
Would it surprise you to know that we give over $2 billion away in credits, exemptions, and deductions? I was surprised. And every time we give one of those away, we have to figure out where we're going to get the revenue. But we had no one place to go to understand the big picture of all of that. So the tax expenditure report will do just that. Every year it'll be produced, so everyone in Alabama or otherwise could look at this and understand how we're spending all these credits, deductions, and exemptions. And it's important for the bigger picture. As a corporate executive in the past, whenever we would look to where we were going to put a manufacturing plant, we looked at these state rankings of who was ranked higher. This is going to help our ranking. It'll help considerably. And the race for the best state to put a manufacturing plant is not really between China and the U.S. anymore. It's between states. Alabama already has received the benefit of that in Polaris, in Remington, but the other states are not standing still. Mississippi passed tax reform. North Carolina passed tax reform. We've got to get it right in Alabama, and this is one step toward that.
Thank you, Senator Hightower. Next, we're going to move to the second segment of our agenda program, which is Empower Education and the authorization of accountable public charter schools. Senator Marsh.
Thank you. You all know I'm a big believer in school choice. The Accountability Act should have proved that, if nothing else. That's been extremely successful. Some 4,000 young people able to go and have a school of their choice that were never able to before. It's given that promise to those parents that they have a choice. The public charter school bill is another move in school choice. Now remember, I said public charter schools. These are charter schools in the public system. And I'm excited about this. It's just another layer of choice for parents and young people and a way to improve the public school system. I'm a product of the public school system. Both my children went to public school. I believe in public schools. But we've got to allow them to have the tools and the flexibility. And the charter school program will give that to them. And I'm excited. This piece of legislation has been worked on throughout the summer. All those different entities of education have been involved in this process. And I think we have a piece of legislation that will be in Senator Brubaker's committee this coming Wednesday. And I'm excited to have another piece of school choice put out for the people of this state by the end of the session, and quite honestly, rather early in the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Next, in the category of Empower Education, we're going to recognize Senator Dick Brubaker from here in Montgomery Pike Road in regards to providing 21st century leadership opportunities for learning. Senator Brubaker.
Tomorrow I'll file a virtual schools bill, and whether you're for virtual schools or online education or not, one thing's for sure, online education is here. There are already school systems in Alabama taking advantage of it. And so what this bill will do is set forward a framework so that local school boards will be firmly in control of this process, and it'll provide structures for them to provide high quality online education for their students. And this will be all the way from kids never having to come into the building, doing all of their coursework online, to some kids only coming in and taking a few classes online. But the great thing is it does give parents one more choice. A lot of kids don't go to public schools simply because it's too long a bus ride each way. Or maybe the child has a disability and there are physical issues with the school he goes to. Online schools provide a way to keep these children within the framework of public education and to give their parents another choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And the last topic of the three is create job opportunities. Obviously, we as a Senate and the legislature, working with the governor, have been focused on a lot of topics associated with job creation over the last 4 years as we serve the people of Alabama. Next, I'm going to request that Senator Fee Williams come and give us some information about a pay-as-you-go incentive package. Senator Williams?
Thanks, Senator Reed. Thank y'all for being here today. You know, the linchpin of any fiscally strong economy is going to wind up being jobs. I mean, we as a legislature are going to deal with things like prison reform and budget issues and the other matters you've heard today on education, but somewhere in the midst of all that, the fact has got to be acknowledged that jobs for Alabamians is what keeps us moving in the right direction. I'm really excited to be helping to drive forward a pretty robust package of bills on that. It's a 5-bill package as it stands right now. And that 5-bill package will be originating in the House, and it will cover a variety of things. But I'll tell you right now, before I even get into what they are, Alabama already has the workforce. We already have the infrastructure, and we certainly have the resources to be competitive. Where we lack competitiveness, where we're mediocre at best, is on the incentives to attract and to grow and to retain jobs here in the state of Alabama. We just lost, in the last few years, we lost thousands of jobs to both Mississippi and Tennessee, who could incentivize the creation of those jobs, whereas Alabama couldn't stand up under the same scrutiny. So that being said, we're going to move forward. 5 bills I'll just mention to you very quickly, and there's more details later if you need them. One is called the Jobs Act. It literally provides pay-as-you-go credits, meaning you create new and direct jobs in Alabama, and then you get a credit back on the previous year's payroll related to new jobs. In other words, prove it, and then receive the incentive. There's also an investment credit related to that for up to 1.5% for capital investments. Every one of these will have clawbacks, and they'll have contracts with the state. Second bill is veterans and rural jobs combined into one. The same Jobs Act that we had there can be expanded for rural areas. Rural areas right now are defined in the current legislation as 20,000 in population per county or less. So in a rural area, we don't want people to have to leave home to go find a job in the big city, so to speak. Nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, if they wanted to have a viable, worthwhile job in their hometown, we want to be able to help them grow that. That also provides another 0.5% on the wages for hiring veterans. If your workforce has a certain percentage of veterans in it, then the company can get a credit for doing that. Third is a reinvestment. This is a retention piece designed to help existing industry to grow. It requires minimum investments. It requires that they have to qualify otherwise under that first Jobs Act that I told you about on creating new jobs. But it allows for existing industry to grow and flourish here in the state and not just to remain stagnant. Early stage investments, this is small business friendly. This is designed to help those businesses which are 20 employees or less, $500,000 in gross revenue, no more than, and less than 3 years old, to receive some incentive to continue growing their business. And lastly is an Innovation Act that deals with research and development that models the federal R&D credit. It allows up to 5% for research and development conducted here in the state of Alabama. But if that research and development is tied in with one of our state universities or major R&D stakeholders, the credit can be expanded. Anyway, I'm excited about it. I think Alabama has a chance to become the leader in incentivization of growth and retention of jobs, and I look forward to this package coming. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Senator Williams. One of the last things you'll see in the press release, and I'll make another comment related to what Senator Williams has just discussed. I come from a rural district. I represent 5 counties. And in that area, job creation is just as important as it is in larger cities. A job is a job, no matter where it is. And our goal is to be able to incentivize an opportunity for those businesses to locate in our state. But the idea that we would offer incentives associated with attracting jobs in rural areas in Alabama is very important, and the impact is huge, and it's a compounding benefit to where you see the opportunity for 20 jobs in a rural county may be just as significant as 100 jobs in a larger city or larger county. So that's one of the areas that we're going to focus on as we look at the ideas associated with job creation opportunities.